minutes, but
All right. On the air, I'm going to go ahead and get the gameplay going.
And hit the theme whenever you can. Oh yeah, I can. Oh yeah. Well, you're still the technical producer. Jesus.
He's technically telling you to produce it.
I'm telling you to produce. I'm about to produce my fucking foot up your ass.
Mm.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 283 of the Smark Snark podcast. My name is Gunnar, and Omega BR will be joining us shortly. Also joining us this week is our wonderful technical producer, Mr. Yankum DDS, who has stepped out apparently as well. So I'm doing the show by myself, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Gunnar Show. Hi, everybody. I guess there's other people here, like Shao Kahn.
Hello, everyone. And if you're wondering where Yankum DDS, he is probably very upset because we've already broken the soundboard. It was great.
It was a quite hilarious pre-show.
No, I think it's working out just fine, from what I can tell.
Yep.
Really? I don't think it is.
Hey, where are you here?
I am, and I can already tell that this is going to be a great episode.
It'll be a freaking phenomenal episode. Save us, dog.
So this is going to be the AJ Styles of Smark Snark episodes.
Well, I mean, come on now. We don't have the weight holding us down. I mean, we've got all the cool people here. I mean, except Vassar. All right. So since these nerds haven't gotten in the room yet, and we've already started the podcast, let's start with the news. WWE's 12-episode Mixed Matched Challenge will air 10 p.m. on Tuesdays, featuring fan voting on a tournament comprised of mixed tag teams, with the winners earning $100,000 for their chosen charity. Dave Meltzer reports this could boost WWE TV's rights negotiations, or even a potential move for Raw and SmackDown to Facebook.
Yep.
So,
for those that don't understand the situation, Facebook, Google, basically all these internet services are desperate to get in, and Facebook is the biggest one right now, desperate to get into essentially what Netflix and Hulu are doing. And they're going to shell out big, big, big sums of money to get something exclusive that they know will draw an audience. I think the last number that I heard for what Facebook was probably going to offer was about $400 million a year, which would be much more than a USA contract right now. And that USA contract is only going down because their ratings are only going down. So that's the whole situation behind this, supposedly.
How do you guys feel about proprietized content like this? I mean, obviously, Lucha Underground is on Netflix. And we've seen, like, for example, with Disney, we've seen a lot of things come off of Netflix. With the recent Fox merger, I expect more things to come off of Netflix. Do you guys feel okay with having a Facebook account just to watch WWE?
Well, I haven't ever had a Facebook account, and I think with WWE going to Facebook possibly in the near future, I still don't see an incentive to have a Facebook account. So, I mean, I don't know. That's me, though.
That was a
I
deliciously
mean,
smarky thing to say.
I have a Facebook, but I never actually use Facebook itself because I don't know, Facebook just bores the piss out of me. But if it comes to Facebook, I guess I'll just use Facebook for that.
I mean, so say like for example, Monday Night Raw is broadcast exclusively on Facebook. Now I could already see the logistical nightmare of this because the Facebook Live videos are always crashing and are terrible. So having hundreds of thousands of people watch it every Monday night would make me be very concerned about that sort of thing.
I think the interesting question is, what would happen with Raw and SmackDown replays? The big reason why the WWE can't upload Raw and SmackDown, at least the modern ones, is because of the TV contract. It says you can't do that, pretty much. They want people to tune in live, to see it live. If it's on Facebook, let's just say it's on there for 3 or 4 days, and then after 4 days, Facebook has gotten all they can out of that live showing. Would it be possible for Raw and SmackDown, the modern ones, to be uploaded weekly to the network with this deal? That's like a big thing with this, and there might be the possibility that could happen.
And that's another thing. Having instant access to Raw and SmackDown would be a huge benefit to the network, in my opinion, because obviously, you've got that however long delay it is to get it to Hulu, and then you have the deal with USA where they, just like Dog was saying. I think that if the network were to carry Raw and SmackDown just like Hulu does right now, I think they would have a way better shot at actually, getting more people to subscribe to the network.
It's gonna be a real interesting situation because Disney eventually is going to pull all their shit from Netflix and make their own subscription service. Everyone's trying to get into it, and there's going to be a bubble, and it's going to burst. And the WWE is part of that chase. So it's an interesting move all around. I don't know if Vince would ever go for it.
Omega, what do you think about WWE jumping to Facebook? Would you watch Would you watch WWE exclusively if it was on Facebook?
Well, I don't watch it on TV now, so.
Well, right. Given the where answer.
Oh, I think it would be interesting. I think you've got this international thing that encompasses, assuming that all this FCC nonsense doesn't go through. Pretty much anybody can access it. This live video, we've seen a lot of it from the NFL this season with Amazon Prime Video, and I think they've even had games on Twitter.
Yep.
The reality of it is, if Facebook is willing to pay them the money, it really doesn't matter how many viewers they do or don't get. They're still sustained by their own network and their merchandise and all that good stuff. Part of me is a little wary about it just because I feel like they are already very, very much in that mindset of it doesn't matter what we do on TV because, we have all these other avenues for revenue. And, that's when you get a less than stellar product as we are seeing at the moment. But, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. The earliest it could happen, I believe, is late 2019, early 2020. So, it's not going to be like a culture shock for another couple of years. But whoever's willing to pay. This is not a matter of being loyal to USA or NBC or, and same with the UFC. They're going to go to the highest bidder. So.
What's most interesting about this conversation that we just had about this is the majority of us don't watch Raw on TV anymore. Most of us watch it on the internet anyway. Maybe this is a brilliant move, and especially for the younger generation who WWE, the coveted demo of the 19 to whatever, 35 or whatever. If they can get that demo with it, if they can, but I mean, that's they want that market because that market's going to spend money on their shit. So why not go straight to the source?
Well, sorry for being late. I just moved up north, and I'm an hour late, hour behind on everything, and about 30 points behind at football games. So,
Rip.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about fantasy this year. My fantasy season ended at about week 8, so I'm good to go.
Well, I'm in the finals of my non-West fantasy deal, so of course. My first quarterback was Mr. Aaron Rodgers, and my second quarterback was Mr. Carson Wentz. So,
rip, double rip.
We'll see how that goes.
Well, I mean, Aaron's going to be back this week, so hopefully things will go well with that. But speaking of things that came out of the blue,
speaking of double rip,
right? Can you handle this? Rich Swann was arrested Sunday night for battery and kidnapping and false following an argument with his wife, indie wrestler Su Yung, over her match earlier in the night, reportedly leading to her leaving the car and Swann stopping in traffic to retrieve her with a headlock. WWE has suspended him per their policy. Now, this entire story is being debated, and there could potentially be miscues here. All of this is in the court of law right now. Is this actually the case? Maybe. Rumors have been going around of a story where Rich Swann jumped out of a moving vehicle to get back in the car because she jumped out of the moving vehicle. If you think about that for a second there, that doesn't make much sense. But I just this seems out of the ordinary.
Well, whatever happened, it doesn't bode well for Swann. He what I had heard, there are a couple conflicting witness reports. Basically, they said he stopped the car and he went and got her. Somebody else said he didn't stop the car. In fact, it rolled and hit a pole as he was going to get her. Headlock is kind of a broad term, really. I mean, is it by the side? Is it getting them by the arm and kind of dragging them? I'm not saying, of course, that's not to say.
It's pro wrestling, dude. They only know one way to throw a headlock. Good thing it wasn't Randy.
I was about to say another one. No, if it was Randy, he would have slammed her on the hood of the car.
No. He would have gotten her in the headlock and then put her on the roof of the car and then pulled her off until her toes were hanging off and then DDT'd her on the ground. All while giving a really goofy look and having the setup be terribly awkward and her somehow not being able to get out of it.
Well, jokes aside, it's the key here in my mind, me not being a lawyer, is that number one, she apparently claims that she got out of the car because she was afraid the argument would escalate to physicality, suggesting that he had a temper, and that suggests things that have happened in the past, like this wasn't a one-time, spur of the moment, heat of the moment incident where, you're mad and you do something, or, the idea that he's trying to get her out of traffic, perhaps. But, and number two, he claimed at one point to the officer that he just wanted to go home or wherever it was they were going, and she had the GPS on her phone. And I guess he didn't, which is kind of a suspicious thing to say. Not that it's not true, it's a little out of the ordinary. So, and it kind of goes against the idea of, well, she was either intoxicated or enraged and was running in traffic, and I was trying to go get her, basically. So, but he is released from jail. He's on his own recognizance. He's not supposed to go near her. And, as per the policy, he'll be fired if he's convicted, which is really a shame considering he was one of the more, of all the cruiserweights, on that fledgling division, he was one of the more prolific in terms of getting shots and stuff.
And of course, this could all come out to be bullshit, or she could drop the charges and things will go away. But even this is possibly the worst time to be accused of anything like this. And I could see.
I'm sure there's not a good time to be accused of anything like this.
Right, but this is an especially
Yeah. Considering they're cutting costs at every corner that they can.
Oh, I was more speaking about the large, swath of sexual harassment, sexual battery shit coming out of the woodwork, out of the media, and politics and that sort of thing. So it's kind of like, almost the in thing to happen to somebody, and it's just a terrible, terrible time for that to happen, because
it could
obviously
also benefit him though with it getting mixed in with all of it, which is not good, but that's the reality of what's been happening.
Right. Let's move on. James Storm has left Impact with Eddie Edwards, Ethan Carter III, and Bobby Lashley's contracts up next. At the latest tapings, Laurel Van Ness told management she wanted to release hours after becoming Knockouts champion. Longtime director-producer Dave Sahadi, live event manager Raphael Morphy were let go for cost-cutting. So out of Orlando, it's the shindy out of Orlando is starting to look like a shindy out of Canada now.
They're actually doing their next set of tapings back in Orlando. But the idea is, basically that they're gonna. The idea that's kind of going around is that big stars, or at least their big stars that have the big contracts, are probably going to be let go. Not going to be renewed. They're not going to give them the money that they want. They're going to try to cycle in, up-and-coming stars in Canada, kind of build people up to a certain level without necessarily paying them.
Expect a whole lot more Tyson Dukes, everybody.
Well, I like Tyson Dukes.
I like Tyson Dukes, too. But I expect a whole lot more of Tyson Dukes.
Yeah, I mean, he might be willing to work for. He might be willing to work for a fraction of what Bobby Lashley is working for.
Here's the problem, right? We went through a round of this back in 2011, 2012, right near the end of the Bischoff and Hogan era, where they're like, we can't pay our top stars anymore. AJ, Chris Daniels, Samoa Joe, etc. And now we're getting to people like James Storm, Ethan Carter III, Bobby Lashley. The name and down and down, and they just keep letting go of their quote stars. So to me, it just says that once you get too big for your britches, there, no matter who you are or who you're out on your ass in about a couple of years after you get over. And to be honest, I mean, like, look at all the people who are leaving. Former TNA champions, like TNA heavyweight champions, main guys. So let's gut the whole division. Not a big deal.
Who's all even left there?
That's the question. I mean, we were all asking that.
Chris Masters
too. Chris Masters. Hey, man.
Anyone of value?
Right, exactly. The guy who says, dummy, yeah. Isn't he like their world champ right now?
Eli Drake.
There you go. That's the guy.
So, anyone with value?
Yeah. Dummy.
The reality of what Anthem wants is basically they want the company to they want it to break even, but they want it to turn a profit, basically. And if that means, firing half the roster and bringing in guys on a per night basis and taping, 20 shows in a week, then that's what we're looking at is going to happen. And I mean, the fact of the matter is they do still have TV, which most people do not. So, I mean, it's going to be a very slow crawl, and you're probably going to see some of those guys in WWE. I'm not so sure about Lashley unless they want to play that Lesnar Lashley angle. I think Ethan Carter III probably would, but that's where they stand. And by the way, David, what's his name? I don't want to get
David Sahadi.
Sahadi. Sahadi worked for WWE previously. He was the guy that TNA brought in, and he's responsible for all their like really good video packages and everything.
Oh, fantastic. So yes, let's get rid of the guy who's actually above our pay grade. Oh, okay, that's fine.
Well, I mean, that's the reality of it. You know, he's been there 10 years, and that's you know.
I just think it's weird that ROH has never changed their production quality, pretty much whatsoever, in the past like 10 years. They're still in that really dark building, you know, shooting on a really bright map with a really poorly lit room. And now we're getting TNA.
It's because it's Sinclair. Sinclair doesn't want to pay a penny for Ring of Honor, really.
Well, we're about to get the same with TNA here. I think. That's all.
I wonder if Storm's actually going to try to go back to NXT again.
Hell yeah! I mean, the only reason he went to TNA was because of his kid. I mean, there's an interview with him saying that. Because, you know, TNA was only going to give him 120 dates, and, you know, he was worried about doing the 200 plus with NXT or some bullshit like that. And then the touring, and the blah, 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 blah. All right, so let's move on. Wrestle Kingdom won't be on pay-per-view in North America, but will feature a special on AXS. The Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes are looking to a self show in 10,000 seat arena with the hope of getting that over Thanksgiving. The Young Bucks outsold Brick and Morty for #1 at Hot Topic. God damn, I pushed the talk button. I'm going to change this here in a second.
Pretty big deal. I've heard I heard Joey Ryan is going to try and get a test run of World's Cutest Tag Team shirts in a couple of Hot Topics, see how they do.
Yeah, I saw that. I can't wait to see that happen.
The Jericho Alpha Club shirt is in, I believe, as of tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be put out in many Hot Topics.
That shirt is really, actually, I really like that one.
You know, it's kind of a big deal. It's like the first, I mean, even with TNA, it's like, I don't think I mean, you see TNA figures, and of course they had a couple of video games, but like as far as like general merchandise, specifically T-shirts, I don't really remember seeing a whole lot in stores. Like not since WCW has there been a direct wrestling marketed merchandise competitor to WWE.
You are incorrect, actually. TNA shirts were picked up by a Hot Topic back in around 2006, 2007.
Were they really?
I know this because I've purchased a Samoa Joe t-shirt from Hot Topic before.
Okay, so maybe some TNA shirts in Hot Topic, but I'm talking about like, not to, well, okay, so not, you know, we're not seeing Bullet Club shirts at like Target or anything yet, but.
Yet being the key word there.
But I mean, yeah, in terms of like, you know, TNA is TNA. They are the competitor, but we're talking about here New Japan. I mean, the thing in my mind, it's one thing for New Japan because it's a popular thing to be in these stores, but we're talking about like independent deals here, like the Young Bucks spearheading this whole thing, and like Joey Ryan. You know, Joey Ryan's he's an independent guy. He's not, you know, categorized as a New Japan guy or anything. So, you know, that could really open the floodgates for certain people. Like, you know, I mean, obviously not everybody, because, you know, who's going to buy I don't know, who's going to buy a
Tito Santana?
Demolition. I had something for this.
I'm excited for when they start selling Ryback's whatever formula, the powder thing.
Yeah, who's going to buy a Ryan? Who's going to buy a Ryan Reeves shirt at?
Not me.
At Hot Topic, you know.
Not me.
No offense, but
you got to be stupid to do that.
All the offense, honestly, cry back.
But anyway, I don't know about 10,000. 10,000 seems pretty lofty. I mean,
they can do it. It's going to be in LA or
yeah.
Chicago, and they're going to do it.
I don't know. Even you know what? If it was in Chicago and they managed to get Punk, maybe. But I don't know.
If they got Punk, that would be a total game changer right there.
What's the arena?
Well, they haven't
said.
announced
They
it.
haven't decided.
It's not they haven't decided, just they haven't announced it. They haven't made it concrete. I think that there's some sort of like Cody was saying a week from now, maybe. So we might have more on this like next week or the week after. We'll see.
I mean, look, if it's like, Chicago. I mean, people will come to Chicago. People will go to California. But like I said, I mean, it's gotta be a big deal beyond just this is our show. You know what I mean? Like they got to get some pretty decent names. Like I said, I think Punk's the only way they might crack 10. Just as far as this being the first one, and they've really got to make it a spectacle. Like it can't just be like even New Japan coming to America. Like that's a big deal, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of a roll of the dice as far as like, how many people are really going to show up for. Well, I'm trailing here, but
I disagree with you. I think that they can do this without Punk. I think they will sell out. I think they will. I think they will draw a 10,000 seat arena, fill it up, and be able to do it with the independent wrestlers that they have. I think that it'll be a testament to how strong independent wrestling is now, and how much money there is actually in independent wrestling.
You know what? I think they can fill it, but we're talking 10,000 paid, sold out, no paper. I don't know.
Well, obviously, there's going to be paper. There's always paper in these sorts of events. You're going to get.
Well, I mean, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you can't say it was sold out and then like the upper deck was papered. I mean,
Well, my point is that beyond the normal papering, which is what you would end up doing, like I think the percentage is like somewhere around 8% of the seats are papered. If it's like above that, or it's like 15 or 20. Or you're hearing about TNA levels of filling it, which I don't think they would do anyways because they just want to run one show. I completely understand your pessimism towards this, but I think that this is going to be a turning to look at independent wrestling and go, hey, wait a minute, independent wrestling is way stronger than what we thought it was. So, moving on.
Well, maybe. I mean, Rhodes certainly took that challenge, so. Like I said, they gotta get some decent names. Like it can't just be like Cody and the Bucks are the main event, and like here's a bunch of undercard guys that are whoever.
Well, I mean, we didn't blink an eye when ICW said that they're going to run an 8,000 seat arena, and they filled it. Or I think they're filling. They're either filling it or they filled it. I forgot which. But moving on. Sorry.
Well,
we're spending way too long on this. John Cena is being sued by Ford for selling his 2017 Ford GT, which he was contractually obligated to keep for 2 years after being picked from thousands of applicants to purchase one of only 500. There are rumors that his a lifestyle, including that of fiancée Nikki Bella's, is draining their finances. Who's surprised at all? Not me.
Not really. Hope that Ferdinand money comes in.
I could say a lot of things, but I'm just not. I'm not going to say it. I think we all know. I don't even have to say it.
Moving on.
The guy likes his cars.
I mean, dude had a lot of cars for a long time, but this is the first time I've ever heard about him having financial trouble. That's for sure. Yeah, wonder what changed.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway,
you're right. All right, so let's ignore the white elephant. The Crash announced that Conan is no longer with the promotion due to creative differences with the financiers. He's now the head of talent relations of the new Aero Lucha promotion and has announced Vince Russo as a creative consultant.
I'm starting to think maybe Conan's not good at running promotions.
I'm starting to think that people don't like working with Conan. I wonder how Vampiro feels about this.
I'm starting to know that Conan is an asshole.
Oh, everyone knows that.
So eventually, like him and Low Key And there's going to be some other guys that are just like blackballed from everywhere else, and they'll just form their own promotion.
So it's going to be him, Loki, and Ryback having their own promotion.
Yeah, why not? It's not like they can get work anywhere else. There are stupid people who will still watch those fucks.
And then Vince Russo books the whole thing.
Oh, and they have to have Sexy Star as well.
Oh,
Sexy
perfect.
Star, the women's division.
Man, talk about 10,000 seats being thrown.
I think the only thing funnier than all of this is the Harris brothers opening a lucha promotion being booked by Vince Russo.
That sounds about right for the
That's,
I mean,
that's supposed to be family friendly compared to Lucha Underground.
Are you just? It's just, man. 2017 in wrestling is fucking wild. Like, go back even a year and tell people all this shit happened. No one would believe you.
Yeah, you end the year with Cody announcing that the 10,000 seat arena is CM Punk against Kenny Omega, for the IWGP US Championship, and people will lose their goddamn minds. I mean, this year will be complete.
That would be 10,000 seats easy.
I mean,
20,000 seats easy.
Right? I mean, that would be, they would need a bigger arena after that. In my opinion.
Like, I would try to get fucking tickets to that.
You know what? I don't know. I doubt even. Let me put it this way. I don't know if they could get Punk, given his UFC stuff, to wrestle. Let's say he's in the corner of somebody.
Yep. He'll be the special guest. Special guest referee. Hit a GTS. Call it a day.
Yeah. Well, not even that, maybe, but maybe, I don't know. It's funny what people, it's not like he's thriving in UFC anyway. But
that's a fucking understatement.
I mean,
he doesn't even exist in UFC right now.
Nope.
Well, he fell off a chair, but
he takes up a chair and he watches. He watches and sees what he can do.
Still taking bumps. Gotta respect it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. 15-minute time limit. We're going to talk about Takeover quickly. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That was not.
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
There it is.
That was not the one.
That was not the one.
I do believe that was not the one.
We still have no, that was not Billy Gunn.
Oh, God damn it.
Running down, we've been out for a few weeks. Believe it or not, the time between pay-per-views. So, Takeover San Antonio, is that where they were?
Yes.
Houston.
Wait, Houston.
It was in Houston.
Right.
It's Texas. Who gives a shit? It's all the same thing.
Yeah, it's all like...
fuck you, Texas, and your Lone Star beer.
Exactly. So let's just...
Years and years.
We're going to run through these quickly, and we're just going to talk about a couple matches here. Lars Sullivan defeated Kashizono. Big surprise there. Actual big surprise there, not saying that sarcastically.
No, I thought it was a pretty good... they were just smashing into each other for... However, it felt a lot longer than it was. It was like 5 minutes, and it felt... they just kept... Lars, he's any big man that can move, and I'm not talking about, like, can run the ropes. I'm talking about, like, can just, breakneck speed is going to do well.
Right.
Rusev style.
Right. Aleister Black defeated...
Speaking of big men, fucking Cassius, dude, you're almost as big as Lars, if not a little bigger. Come on.
I don't care about... Okay, so am I the only one who doesn't care about fucking Chris Hero's size?
See, I don't... If he's a bit bigger, that's understandable. But there's, like, a point beyond that,
Honestly, I like Big Boy Fat Hero.
I mean... he's still as talented as ever. It's just like it's kind of funny on both ends because like they keep pushing Lars Sullivan as a sponsor and Ono standing eye to eye with him.
Right.
Almost just as big, yeah.
Aleister Black defeated Velveteen Dream.
This was my match of the night by far.
Damn, this match.
You want to talk about a match that's like WWE doesn't do this very often anymore, or they do, but it's usually like really bogged down. Like your typical, I'm talking about storytelling in a match. Your typical WWE storytelling match is one guy gets beat up the entire match, and then something happens to kind of come out with the finish. You know, either a guy interferes, or they climb the cage, or the referee is going to do something like what we're going to see at a Clash of Champions. But as far as like this story and like the whole say my name thing and like psyching each other out, I mean, it was great.
It was just, yeah, I've noticed in NXT they'll allow some guys to do much more of like psychologically driven match. Like Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura had some great ring psychology in their matches, and this was better. This was better ring psychology than those matches. I mean, it was just everything meant something, and everything was important from the first bell to the very last. This was easily a top 5 favorite match of mine for the year, and I'm taking back everything bad I ever said about Velveteen Dream. He is amazing.
I'm just happy that they all can, get their shit in, and that both of them are getting an opportunity. Patrick was something he's very special and tough enough. He was eliminated way too early, and I could definitely see where he would be able to be something. And I'm so glad that he's found this character, that he's made it his own. And Aleister Black, if I were to be a professional wrestler today, I would be fucking Aleister Black. I mean, that character is perfect, in my opinion. And his kick and his stoicism really, really, really define his character. And it's just it's like Punk without a mouth, It's what it's supposed to be. And I really enjoy the two clashes because both of them are very obviously into what they're doing. I could go on, but we'll move on. Ember Moon won the women's title over Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, and Kairi Sane. Safe choice, perfectly fine. Go Ember Moon.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of bothers me a little is like, yeah, Ember won the title, but she did it without beating Asuka.
Well, and then Asuka hands her the belt, which, I would have, like I said, I would have had Royce win it and do the whole, we went from a great champion who beat everybody to someone who's all, skittish and cheating and, have her chase it that way. But, I mean, they got more women coming in. So if they need a more credible champion, then they got one.
It did feel a little bit of a letdown with how they presented it. But I think over time, as Ember keeps going, because I don't think she's going to lose the belt anytime soon, that will go away. It's just, I mean, it's unprecedented kind of how good Asuka was and how dominant she was. So they sort of had to do something like that because it's still Asuka's belt. There's no question about that.
I mean, you put Asuka in NXT once again, and she'll fucking knock your socks off for that belt. But
and it really is the continuation of she's the greatest. Asuka's the greatest of all time. You're second best, but I mean, you're still better than everyone else.
I am calling for long-term booking here. Ember Moon ends Asuka's reign of terror at next WrestleMania. Not this one, next one. In a women's title match. That would be quite possibly one of the most satisfying ends to a streak and to a feud that I could ever think of in my entire life.
I would be very much okay with that.
It would hopefully they'll do that, but it'll probably be in a 2-minute match on Raw against goddamn
Nia Jax.
One of the fucking Nia Jax. By the way, Nia Jax has gone from the most hated women on the roster to my favorite woman on the roster. I want to see them. I want to see Enzo and her date, but we'll get into that later.
How you doing?
How you doing? All right. Let's see here. Andre Almas won the NXT title over Drew McIntyre. Teddy, I lost my belt, Teddy.
And the MVP of the match was Zelina Vega.
Yes. What a great manager. She does such a good job. To think she was Rosita in fucking TNA.
I liked they did a lot of athletic spots. There was one where I think it was Almas going for a Hurricane Rana and McIntyre reversed it into an Alabama Slam.
They look good.
I mean, there was a lot of near falls, I think a lot of people went into this thinking, Almas is just a challenger. He doesn't really have a shot. And as fate would have it.
All right. Let's move on. Almost winning is great. He's finally settled into his character. A great sort of turnaround from where he was when he first started. But let's get into this.
I'll always miss the white suspenders.
Right.
Rest in peace.
Undisputed Era defeated Sanity and the Authors of Pain and Little Brother Roddy in the War Games match.
I have not marked out as hard as I did when fucking Roderick Strong came out in the Authors of Pain gear. I lost my shit. That's one of my favorite things ever. He looked exactly like their little brother, and the fucking dad, Papa Ellerine's telling him, "No, you let him play with you now."
I tell you, for a match that didn't necessarily have a lot of psychology, it had a lot of what you wanted out of this match. AOP's tossing guys into the next ring. They're doing DVDs into the Tree of Woe. Sanity comes in. They don't come in right away. They're tossing in all kinds of weapons. They're doing They got the chain. They got the garbage can. I mean, it wasn't even your garden variety WWE weapons. I mean, it was for the most part, but like the chain and what else did they have? The trash can you don't see very often.
The MVP of this match to me was Alexander Wolf. My God, that's like his head bloodied and he was still going.
Oh yeah.
From the table.
We have Stereo Towers of Doom. We had the Super German into the table. We had the Coast to Coast. Yeah, it was a trash can because they did it coast to coast.
The table not dying. Whatchamacallit?
Yeah.
Adam Cole scurrying across the top of the cage. The death spot with Adam Cole. It was basically every spot that you could possibly think of at a cage match in one cage match with 8 people, which is a disgusting amount of people. I felt this. I know War Games are supposed to feel crowded because they're supposed to be, or 10 people in the ring at the same time. But man, oh man, was this fucking a clusterfuck.
It was a clusterfuck spot fest done right.
Pretty much. They worked very hard. They had the crowd engaged. It wasn't like, some of these cell matches, it's like, well, here's a weapon, let's hit each other. Let's do this, do that, do that. I mean, and that's kind of what this was, but at the same time, it felt like they had more meaningful spots, which you can do when you have a multi-man match, because in a singles match you can't do a spot like when they did the Stereo Towers and Cole's in the middle between the 2 rings, and he's just giddy that he wasn't involved and that whole deal. So,
man, EY had to be having some serious flashbacks to Lethal Lockdown.
Oh, God.
I mean, complete with the last team coming in and just throwing a bunch of fucking shit in the ring. The only thing they didn't have was the pyro spooters and the steel roof coming down.
Which I didn't really miss the roof all that much.
I liked it so much more without the roof. And because they had an explanation, if you step over and get out to the outside, your team is eliminated. automatically. You're just disqualified. So I was fine with it because it adds a dimension to it where you have a chicken shit heel like Cole just going, fuck this, I'm gonna climb up to the top. And then there's a reason for that big spot.
Yep.
It took nothing away from the match for me. In fact, it only added to it because you can't do Authors of Pain tossing people from ring to ring. That's just insanely dangerous. There's just so many spots in that match you would not have been able to do.
I also like the plate that was in the middle of the ring. That was basically to cover the gap between the two rings. I thought that was perfectly fine. The pacing of the match was good. The spot that ended it was like, okay, all right, that's good. I could see where that would end it. All right, that's it. Let's move on from NXT. I just want to cover the Survivor Series match. I mean, all the Survivor Series Survivor Series matches before the main event were okay.
The reality of the card is that it was a lot of back and forth. I mean, it's like Corbin beats The Miz, the Usos beat The Bar, the Shield beats the New Day. I mean, a lot of them. I mean, the Shield and New Day one was pretty decent. They had the triple power bomb, they had a double midnight hour, they had the second rope triple. I mean, it's basically like if War Games is a match where you don't really know what to expect and you get all these exciting spots that you didn't really see before. A lot of these matches were spots that, oh well, it's the Shield and the New Day. I bet the Shield's going to go for the triple power bomb and it's not going to work. And maybe they'll do a top rope triple power bomb, which was really a second rope, but that's what they did. So just for posteriority, Elias beat Matt Hardy, Enzo beat Kalisto, Owens and Zayn beat Breezango, Shield beat New Day, Team Raw beat Team SmackDown in the Women's Survivor Series match, Asuka being the sole survivor. One thing about that match, by the way, did you guys see what was going on between Alicia Fox and Naomi?
Oh God, that was awful.
It was like they had their sequence and they botched every part of it.
Yep.
They had to keep going.
Yep. And
it's like, why did you not put your shoulder up when you were in that kind of position?
Yep. Because 2009 reared its ugly head sometimes, and Alicia Fox transported us back to her classic with Melina.
Maybe it's things like this is why Alicia Fox was never pushed.
Maybe.
The
match I do want to talk about here is Brock Lesnar defeating AJ Styles. Oh God damn!
Yeah, what a good decision to replace Ginger and do this thing. And my God, did Brock Lesnar ever sell for AJ Styles? I mean, I think he sold more in this match than probably since he came back in 2012.
Yeah, I mean, this is an awesome match.
Legitimately, if you watch it all the way up to this match and then just stop after this match, it's a pretty good pay-per-view.
I mean, it's a really good pay-per-view.
It's probably the best WWE pay-per-view this year if you watch it up into this. This would be the last match you watch. It would be the best pay-per-view.
From a pure match standpoint, like I said, the mid-card was what it was. That's not to say it was bad. It's just, it's kind of like the episodes of Raw lately where they've had these long 20-minute matches and they're not bad and they get some time and they build up a little bit, but at the same time, it's not like, it feels like you could cut half the match and you wouldn't be missing anything, Which, I mean, that's true of a lot of matches, but I don't know. As far as getting heat and engaging the crowd, it's, what I'm saying? I mean, there was some chin lockery going on. Put it that way.
Until, of course, the finish. Oh, Lord, this match.
This match was so fucking awful.
Making Shinsuke looking like a fucking jobber. That's all they fucking done with him since they brought him up to the main roster. Make him look like a fucking geek and fucking look awful. And then there's 7 other geeks in this goddamn match too. And then all of a sudden it's Triple H fucking ejaculating all over the fucking match. and then realizing that he doesn't have enough spunk left for Daddy, aka fucking Braun Strowman. Ugh, it just makes me so angry.
I
It's
don't.
like it's reverse
I don't care for
booking.
that
It's like
title very much.
it's just like you have all these up and coming talents that they're supposed to be a big deal because they're in this match, right, for brand supremacy. And then you fucking bury everyone in this match but the people who were big main eventers like 15 years ago. Like, what kind of fucking... Are we supposed to believe Shane McMahon is stronger than everyone else on his team? Like Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, John Cena. We're supposed to believe that Shane McMahon is... And he even shrugged off the Owens and Zayn attack. He shrugged them off and chased them off. So is he stronger than them now? It's like, what the fuck?
And John Cena came back for no reason. No reason whatsoever. Last time we saw Cena, he was contemplating retiring. I mean...
The booking in
also,
this
the thing with
match...
Cena here, it's like... Kind of makes him look like a bitch for going back to SmackDown. Like, he comes over to Raw to fight Roman, gets his ass kicked, and he goes away for a long time. And all of a sudden, hey, I'm totally Team SmackDown now, guys. It's like, you look like a total bitch for getting your ass kicked on Raw.
The booking in this match was pure convenience. Short term, just, a means to an end. I mean, it was... And it, unfortunately, the same end that we always get, more or less. This whole Triple H is better than the entire roster. He's got to build for his match at Mania, that he's the same match we always see that goes 30 minutes, and he'll lose to somebody, but they won't be any more over than they were before. And
it's Braun's turn.
Yeah, and if it's Braun, that'll be exactly the same case as it always is. Unless Braun just destroys him the whole match, and it's not even a contest. But good luck with that. It's ridiculous. I don't know what they were thinking with this. I mean, Survivor Series.
This whole match was just one giant Triple H wank, and pretty much you made everyone look completely stupid and weak just to have this Triple H wank. It's so stupid. Yeah. And this booking just gives me a headache.
Okay, so all right, fine, whatever. Triple H, I'm gonna be the 5th member. All right, and then turn on fucking Kurt Angle. That's fine. Pin him 1, 2, 3, but by Kurt, and then do the right thing. And then I'm gonna do it myself while looking at Braun Strowman, and then Braun Strowman goes over and gets all intimidating with him. What the fuck? What logic does anybody have in this fucking thing? What did Triple H just by himself in the bathroom, on the flight there? All right, boys, this is what we're doing for the booking tonight. All right, you're gonna go, you're gonna go, you're gonna go, you're gonna go, and then it's gonna be me and the big guy, and we're gonna have a stare down. And Kurt, I'm gonna cuck you again, like I did in 2000 when you tried to kiss my wife. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because it all goes back to that, by the way. And Kurt Angle, by the way, Mick Foley, 2015 or 2016 or whatever it is. That Mick Foley was the goddamn general manager. Same character, same thing, same reactions, no different whatsoever.
They really just need to get rid of these. Oh, sorry, MJ. Hey there.
You go ahead.
Oh, there we go. I couldn't hear you for a second. Yeah, they really need to get rid of these authority figure things. They're so played out and tired. They don't get any heat. They get some reaction just because people hate them legitimately. But, I mean, it's not Vince Austin. It's never been Vince Austin. It was Austin gets 5 over on Vince. Vince gets 1 over on Austin. That's how it always was in the past. This is just beat him down, beat him down, beat him down, beat him down until nobody cares, and then maybe give him the rub at, Survivor Series or WrestleMania. But then, like I said, I mean, other than WrestleMania 30, don't get me wrong, that was
No. Don't give them credit for WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 30 occurred in spite of all of that.
Well, you're right. You're right, but they did go through with it. So, and they screwed it up immediately after. But I'm just saying, as far as achieving what should happen, WrestleMania 30 did it. But as far as like, all this authority stuff and like, I mean, it's just enough already, and it's just to get Hunter a match. And you would think they could find another way to do it where I want to see Triple H face an NXT guy at WrestleMania. How about that? How about somebody call somebody up? How's that for a rub? Don't have him face the hottest acts in the company, which has happened since Lesnar came back, and even before that. No, it's been happening since the Pipe Bomb, where Triple H was Punk's opponent, and then Triple H had the series with a returning Lesnar, and then Triple H faced Sting, and then Triple H fought The Undertaker. Well, that was even before Punk, but he fought The Undertaker twice after Michaels did it. And, it's just...
Whenever he wants to wrestle, he can wrestle that year because they're the most popular, hottest attraction, there. And oh boy,
watch him do Triple H versus Woken Hardy at Mania.
God.
I got it. You said NXT guy. Trips must go against the French Angel #2, which is what I call our good friend Lars. He must go against Lars. It is a demandment. It is the gods want this match. Trips must go against Lars.
I want to see Lars come out with the Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick, and then Triple H be like, "That's my son."
God!
Because they would do that shit. Again.
That would be amazing.
I'm regretting this as I'm thinking of it, but Triple H versus Aleister Black could be the Punk feud that Triple H actually wanted with somebody who would listen to him.
Exactly.
The only problem with that is he doesn't talk worth shit, at least as far as I can see. He's a great professional technical ring man, but it's promo.
They'll make him do it. They'll make him do it. They make Lars Sullivan talk.
All right, so there's a pay-per-view this weekend, and we got predictions to go through. So we're just going to run through those quickly.
It's not a very good one either.
No. Zack Ryder versus Mojo Rawley in the pre-show. Mojo's turn.
They're lucky to even be in the pre-show, quite frankly. So
I do a little bit, but I hate to see these two guys like this. It's just
Zach gets his papers after WrestleMania this year.
Yeah,
I think he will.
Maybe Mojo too. I mean, geez.
All right. Baron Corbin.
To come back.
Let's hear Brazongo versus the Bludgeon Brothers. I'm asleep already by reading that.
Who cares?
I guess the Bludgeon Brothers win. I mean,
God, the worst gimmick of all fucking time. It's just so. I hate it.
Terrible.
It's a waste of Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, and it's even weirder because they now do Killer Elite Squad's finish.
It's not even the gimmick, is it? It's just two guys coming out here beating people up, and they didn't just add a couple of Super Mario hammers. I mean,
fucking two goons and rip-off Kane outfit.
Right? No. They're in a rip-off Kane outfit, being a rip-off War Machine, and ripping off Killer Elite Squad's finish.
All right, so this is now kayfabe on the show. The Bludgeon Brothers are no longer the Bludgeon Brothers. They are the Canaanites.
Oh, God.
Yes.
They are Canaanites. They are B-rated, if you can get Kane to be any more B-rated, fucking Kane ripoffs. They are the Canaanites.
The Canaanites.
Baron Corbin versus Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler for the U.S. title. Man, it was nice to have Dolph Ziggler volunteer himself to take the pin from Bobby Roode to get the title off of Baron Corbin. Don't you guys think?
Kinda. I'm not sure.
Meanwhile, outside of wrestling, watching this Ducks game, and Kevin Waugh, who just got recalled from San Diego, has 2 goals against the Blues tonight.
Nice. Well, it's the Blues. That's not surprising.
It can't be any worse than the Denver-Indianapolis game, for crying out loud.
God.
No, I'm having a fun night. 3-0, boys.
Hey, there's no room for real sports when we have
Charlotte versus Natalya in a lumberjack match for the SmackDown Women's title.
Let me play Mia Khalifa here. There's no room for real Wait, never mind.
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty.
That
Reverse
crashed
me.
and burned.
Reverse Mia Khalifa. I'm having a bad night. I don't know.
Charlotte
It's all
versus
this-
Natalia lumberjack
it's this
match.
weather.
I'm already asleep with this one too.
Charlotte wins, and the Riot Squad does some stuff. The Riot Squad and Absolution do the exact same thing on both shows.
Yes.
And I don't care about any of the 6, not even Paige.
It's real weird how they just cloned the gimmicks onto each other, except with different team names. I'm really disappointed. I love Ruby Riot. I love Paige. And the new gals should be getting something better than this to come into.
Okay, so taking predictions now about an entire alligator hunting show based on the one chick on SmackDown.
Oh, I love Sarah Logan. She's just so backwoodsy.
Never ever put a live microphone in front of her ever again.
You know, Liv Morgan is a discount Carmella, but at least that's better than being nothing. And, you know, other than having Liv on her top, that's all we really know of her.
Yep.
So far.
Pretty much. And I expect her to have a complete like non-creepy Wyatt family segment at some point or another where it's just her in the backwoods blowing a jug, because that's pretty much all she's good for. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure she's a fine professional wrestler, but this gimmick is this is RVD cool, dude. Like bad.
Well, she was crazy Mary Dobson in the Indies, and she was fine. But then she was like fine being like crazy and psychotic, and even a deathmatch wrestler. But now they're just doing this gimmick, and it's just why?
Right, exactly.
All right, because she's from Kentucky, right? Yeah, sure.
You wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Shao?
Fuck them. They can kiss my ass.
Usos versus the New Day versus Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus Rusev and Aiden English for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Please give them to Rusev and English. Give them to Rusev and English so that they have Rusev Day every day.
It would be nice, but they're going to give them to, I think, Benjamin and Gable.
Watch them give it. Wait, who's the champions right now? New Day?
Usos.
Oh, okay.
The Usos.
Okay. You see, I don't even know who the champions are. That's how bad SmackDown is. Yet again, I didn't watch wrestling at all this week because I've been working bullshit and midnight shifts, and I'm going to be doing that next week during wrestling. So yay!
Right. Yeah. Benjamin and Gable. It's about their time. AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal for the WWE title.
Please, AJ, win this. I have a feeling like AJ will finally get interesting again once he's done with Jinder.
Oh, of course. I mean, he's got. Who does he have next? I mean, that's my question. Who is AJ Styles going to face at Royal Rumble?
Well, apparently all the top guys on SmackDown can't beat 40, 50-year-old men, so who knows?
My question is this, and this is for the next match. Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn with guest referees Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. If Owens and Zayn lose, they are fired from all of WWE.
Oh, God. Just halfway through that, my mind.
I know!
Just turned off, yes.
Dude, it's fucking TNA. It's so TNA. It's painful.
Yeah.
Like they need to have a rule that they start outside the fucking ring, and then it's just full on TNA.
Their best wrestler is in this match.
Which one?
And the second best wrestler is in this match. And the third best wrestler is in this match. Daniel Bryan. Shinsuke
Only not
Nakamura.
participating, yes.
Yeah, well, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan.
Oh, active roster. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I would have been fine with this happening as, like, it's predictable, but it's going to happen. But then on SmackDown, during that ending segment, Byron Saxton would not shut up about how Daniel Bryan is now in the pocket of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and he could very well turn on Shane McMahon and Randy and Shinsuke. And I'm thinking, so it's never going to happen now that you've so blatantly
Exactly.
pointed it out. So now either Shane's turning or they're not doing it at all.
which
just
makes you, scratch your head and
like there are times when like it's so weird when this happens, and it actually happens more than it should, but where like they do these things and it's all telegraphed, and you can it's long-term booking in the sense that like they have an idea of where they want to go, and then they have to fill like 4 or 5 weeks until they get there, and it doesn't matter because they're going to end up at that spot. Like this guy's going to turn on that guy, or this guy, they're going to have this match or whatever. And that's not where we're at now. And, it's good not to be predictable, but then there's that point where the thing that was predictable would be good and, would benefit in the long run. And they don't do it, whether to not be predictable or they just had a different idea of what to do. But the point of all this being, if they go with heel Shane and Kevin and Sammy, which really makes no sense whatsoever, I'm not sure that's a good thing at all. Period. Is that something I want to see till WrestleMania? What's the blow off to that? I mean, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, right? All of this, is leading to a storyline, but the logical conclusion to this is Daniel Bryan versus Shane McMahon at some point in a match.
Well, yeah, that I can't do unless they,
I think
change their own mind.
I think that there's some bullshit going on here. So, unless you guys haven't noticed this, but I have, there have been a lot of articles in the past 2 weeks where Daniel Bryan is being alleged to be, trying to come back every day, this sort of thing. And I found it weird that all of a sudden, randomly, it's starting to come up. And then all of a sudden, randomly, he's, going against Shane McMahon and doing the thing that, Kurt and Mick didn't have the sense or balls to, or written to have the sense or balls to. And then all of a sudden this match comes up and it's like, wait a minute. Are you guys really going to do this? Are you guys really going to pull this trigger? Because if this is how you're going to do it, holy shit, am I bored. Okay, so the biggest person to come back to wrestling, in my opinion, and like Punk is a 1A, don't get me wrong, but Punk is not the number one, it would be Daniel Bryan wrestling again. I mean, it would be bigger than Shawn Michaels wrestling again, in my opinion. It's one of the things in their, back pocket that they could pull out and say, all right, we're going to do this because, fucking doofus Marone over there said, all right, yeah, well, I think we'll let Daniel go. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there's some sort of fucking reason why Joseph isn't doing this. I mean, the doctor has, his doctorate, and he's trying to look out for the best for the company and for Daniel. But unless I smell bullshit, I smell a lot of bullshit here, and I smell that there's something not being presented correctly to us as the public, and we're going to find out about it sooner or later.
Well, the fact that they're not clearing Bryan, yet they cleared Kurt Angle, yeah.
Right? How the fuck do you clear Kurt Angle and not Daniel Bryan?
Kurt Angle's a goddamn walking concussion.
Which means that they've cleared Daniel Bryan. I can almost guarantee that. I think that at this point, we can look at this and objectively say that Daniel Bryan has been cleared on some level. And he will be wrestling again at some point shortly for the WrestleMania season. And wouldn't that be the greatest story? The biggest triumph comeback of the whole, of the year. Daniel Bryan finally being able to wrestle again. Blah, 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 blah. And he does it again in New Orleans. Writes itself, right?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Although if Bryan comes back, 2 things. No headbutts and no suicide dives, please.
Here.
We shall see both of. First match, first thing he does. I think it's interesting. By the way, Daniel Bryan recently was cut out of Total Bellas bumping. So he was training Brie and Nikki to get back in the ring, And on Instagram, Nikki or Brie posted a video of Daniel bumping, which got everybody like, like back in the summertime when they were shooting this. But they cut it so that you couldn't see Daniel bumping or doing any bumps whatsoever. So yeah, they're protecting Daniel. I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say that if I'm right with this and they've approved Daniel, he wins the Rumble. Flat out, he wins the Rumble.
First of all, Omega gets a trademark because of that, or 25 cents. Second of all, if he wins the Rumble and he does go on to Mania and he wins whatever the hell match they put him in, even if it's a world title match, then those would probably be two of the greatest comebacks in WrestleMania history in the same WrestleMania. The second, of course, which I'm just going to get this off as a fanboy. Oh, God, that came out wrong. But moving right along, the second one is the purported return of WrestleMania of the Hulkster in some form or capacity.
Yep. All right. Let's move on because I'm done because I've ranted for too long and I don't have Yankum over here yelling at me. He needs to really stop banging his hand so that he can come back here and actually do the show with us. Dairy Queen drive-thru. Vassar's here.
Hey, one second.
What?
Dairy Queen drive-thru.
There you go. Vassar's here. Vassar could do the ratings, maybe.
Yes, I can. And now it's time for the ratings, starting off with Impact. 226,000 viewers, down from the 255,000 the week previous. On to Raw, 2.684 million, down from 2.813 million the week previous. And finally on to SmackDown with 2.481 million viewers, down from 2.493 million the week previous. And that is it for the ratings.
Cringeworthy. Birthdays, dog.
Happy birthdays today to Brandon Watts, Teddy Khan, Mason Childs, Yosuke Watanabe, Fuerza Guerrera, Yukari Kitao, and Johnny Jeter. And then happy birthday tomorrow to the one and only Super EY himself, Eric Young. Happy birthday, man. You're awesome. Congrats on all the success. Also, happy birthdays tomorrow to Bruno Sassy, Rene Dupree, Kai Akiyama, Pentagon Cito, Elix Skipper, and Kendall Wyndham. And then on the 16th, happy birthdays to Luke Harper, Jigsaw, Sammy Lane, Jason Anderson, Men's Tio, Psycho Clown, Psycho Sid, William the Refrigerator Perry, and Chris Travis, all having birthdays on the 16th. Then on the 17th, Eugene, Tim Weiss, Nosawa Rangai, Coco Rojo, Yuka La Portranquita de los Lagos, Tona La Tapiacha, or Tapiasha, I'm not sure, and Kiyoshi Tamura on the 17th. On the 18th, Rob Van Dam himself. Light one up for me, homie. Founder of the New Weed Order, Rob Van Dam. Also on the 18th, Eric Perez, Green Ant, Moondog Splat, The Messiah, Terry Austin, Billy Jodoin, Razor Ramon HG, Trish Stratus, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Happy birthdays to all of y'all on the 18th. Also on the 19th, Delirious, Mariachi Loco, Hayate, Kana Misaki, Eric Watts, and Mean Gene Okerlund. And then on the 20th, next week, Akuma, Jimmy Ray Walker, Kareem Sadat, Kazuaki Mihara, Teriyoshi Oshima, Diamante Azul, Mark Coleman, and Armando Alejandro Estrada. Happy birthdays.
So can I ask a question real quick? I noticed there was Mark the Hammer Coleman in there. Is that Tonya Latapia guy, the first ever guy who fought in the UFC, that sumo dude?
I don't know. Go. There's Google over there.
Okay.
Go look up and get us the answer. Because I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
I had a very strange encounter with Mariachi Loco once.
Oh, please tell us the story.
You brought it up, dude.
He was in the bar at the place like during intermission, and he just like walked up to me, started talking, and shook my boot and walked away, and just went off and was messing with other people in the bar.
Cool. Interesting story.
Yeah, he was just like wandering the bar during intermission and just messing with people and talking to them, and it was just odd. It was weird.
He just wishes it was Razor Ramon hard gay. Just saying.
No.
Yes. And now it is time
Auto game. Woo!
This week in wrestling history with Omega PR.
Yes, this week in wrestling history. Like a 1940, where Buddy Knox defeats the Great Mephisto to win the Midwest Wrestling Association Ohio Light Heavyweight title in Akron, Ohio. Jump to 1956, where Jerry Graham defeats Bobby Wepner to win the NWA Southern Heavyweight title in Florida. And in 2003, Sin, with 2 wins, wins the NWA Bluegrass Heavyweight title from Chance Prophet in Paintsville, Kentucky. At the same show, the Redneck Express of Chris Vega and The Rebel defeated Vinny Viagra and Billy Maverick to win their second NWA Bluegrass Tag Team Championship. And that was this weekend wrestling history.
Happy Trails this week to Jim Johnson, longtime WWE composer, who has reportedly been released from the company. I believe his contract ran out, and they did not re-sign him.
Boo!
Obviously, this means that he can come back for non-contracted work, and do some freelancing stuff. But I mean, he was doing it for literally 30 to 35 years. This is the man that has come up with every single theme song that Jimmy Hart didn't write, basically, that you've ever heard in your entire life. And he is one of the best in the business. And man, oh man, wouldn't that be nice if there was some sort of award that like they could give out at the Hall of Fame for backstage people? Man, wouldn't that be such a good idea, guys?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
wonder
totally.
if anybody's ever come up with that before. I can't remember.
I can't either.
Well,
and-
he needs to be in the Hall of Fame by himself anyway, regardless.
Yes. Yes. And if they don't, they're assholes. Happy trails to Drew McIntyre, who underwent surgery for a bicep tear, which suffered at the closing moments of his takeover match, hoping he'll be back in time for WrestleMania so he can point at the sign. Because currently he can't because of his bicep.
God damn it.
That's not.
God damn you.
I made myself laugh at that one. That was good. What should we watch this week in wrestling? Let's see here. Vassar's here.
The World Tag League Finals.
Net Jester.
Well, I haven't been having the best of times the past couple of weeks, so I've been thinking about a match that made me about the happiest. And one of them was when I actually went to WrestleMania 20 at Madison Square Garden and saw the 3-way between it was Triple H and Shawn Michaels and the man who shall not be named, but I shall name anyway, Chris Benoit.
Shao Kahn.
It's not really a match, but it's 2 things. The post-match beatdown from Chris Jericho on the Kenny Omega, and then also their altercation at the press conference when Chris Jericho threw a goddamn table at Kenny Omega.
That was fun.
Chris Jericho looks fucking jacked right now. It's great. Great. Omega BR, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
I would say, honestly, that Velveteen Dream Aleister Black match, I think, it's not War Games, it's not Survivor Series, it's not Styles versus Lesnar matches you would expect to be really great. But yeah, like I said earlier, it really had a pinnacle of storytelling, and they're both great characters who played off each other really nicely. So, I mean, hey, that's the kind of thing they need to be teaching. They should be showing that match in every class in NXT to get these people motivated to work on their personalities.
So, Dog, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Let's go ahead. I'll suggest last night from NXT, Fabian Eichner versus Andrade Cien Almas.
You bastard!
You took away his.
It was a really good match. It wasn't very long, but it was like the perfect short match, and they both looked great.
I know I already gave mine, but I have to throw in a second to that one. The match between Lorcan. Oh God, what's the other guy's name? Birch, thank you. Lorcan Birch versus AOP. My God, that was quick, hard-hitting, and amazing.
I mean, if it was PWG, they would have kicked out. that was my only logic, mislogic in that tag team match. It was like, all right, so that's cool. By the way, 890,000 viewers for NXT. I know that wasn't in the ratings, but the inaugural NXT got under 1 million viewers, which is pretty good in my opinion. But yeah, no, I was totally gonna have that Cien Almas match against Fabian, because Almas made Fabian look like $1 million, and then beat the shit out of him. Had him eat his finisher, and it was GG. What else? I'm actually going to tell you to go watch Being the Elite, because ever since they got over the whole, cease and desist shit, I mean, they've been pretty consistently good. So go watch Being the Elite, because that's pretty fucking sweet. All right. So here's the awkward part of the conversation. Yankum was supposed to go for just a shower, and he has not returned. I do not know where Yankum is or what he's doing.
Well, he's gone and the show got better, so, hey.
That's true. Isn't that weird? I mean, he says
Also,
something about Jester all the time, but
also, my other match to watch, since we've been gone for so long, the match that is now one of my macros in West, Asuka versus Dana Brooke, that 5-star, 5-second classic.
Oh my God.
I love cup of coffee matches like that. They're the best.
Now all we need is a backstage segment of Asuka trying to quickly make a 5-second coffee while the match is playing in the background.
Right. All right, everybody. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. I think we're back on YouTube now. So I would like you to check out our YouTubes, youtube.com/Smark Snark. We're revamping the Facebook page. So facebook.com/Smark Snark. If you have a Facebook account, please come like us. It would really help us along the way. We'll start posting more stuff there shortly. Twitter.com/Smark Snark. That'll be a little bit more active now. And we really, really appreciate you guys listening to us. We're hoping for a big 2018. Hopefully be able to, have a big year. So take care. Spike your hair.
Woo, 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 woo. Nobody's going to take that one? Nobody?
No, because that was awful and you should feel ashamed for it, and you know it.
Okay. I'll make better next week.
Good night, Dip Flames.
And good morning, Vietnam.